What would you do for an opportunity to be up there at Lambeau on Sunday? I'll tell you something, this next guy, he's hard to top.
He told a local radio station that he was willing to saw a car in half with just a hacksaw. Did he do it? Our Tammy Hughes watched the whole thing unfold. She's here with his story.
We're thinking, is it even possible? How do you do that? Well, Dan Wall remembered when he was about 15 years old, hearing about a guy who sawed a car in half for a radio contest. So when the Hog radio station asked what people were willing to do for tickets, he threw out the idea. And indeed, he did it in true Packers fashion. Armed with nothing but a hacksaw and pure determination, Dan Wall started working on this 1997 Volvo around 3 in the afternoon. In a matter of minutes, he'd worked up quite a sweat.
I was a little surprised, a little bit crazy idea that he was going to try to cut a car in half.
But Dan had a plan.
Strategy was to get the supports cut first, so I can raise it up to open it up, give me a little more access to the line that I want to cut in the middle.
Then came the reinforcements. Dan says the floorboard was actually the hardest simply because of the angle. When asked what he was using for motivation,
Lambeau, 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 Lambeau.
Radio station 102.9 The Hog says this was all Dan's idea.
I called him up. I said, "You're actually going to cut a car in half?" He's like, "Oh yeah, it should take about an hour." And he was just so calm about it. I knew that this had to be the guy that we would go with.
After almost 2 hours of sawing and 1, 2, 3, make that 7 blade changes, Dan cut that car in half. And he celebrates like only a real Packers fan would. Of course, the reward, 2 tickets to watch his favorite team in the playoffs.
How big of a Packer fan I am? Well, just look at what I've done.
A closer look shows the sharp, twisted metal that is left behind. We can only hope the Packers play with as much focus and determination on Sunday.
I'm going to get a sign, and I'm going to make a sign that says, "I cut a car in half with a hacksaw to be here today."
And we must be watching on Sunday. We'll be looking for Dan. He was very excited. He and his wife have 3 boys, all under the age of 6. So buying tickets just was not in their budget. We all can relate to that. The car was donated by a local body shop. And the radio station says if the Packers win, they're going to do this again. Another contest just like this one, Ann.
Wow, another Dan. Well, congrats and thanks for the great story. We loved it.
Yeah.
Lambeau